Hello, my name is Chester Lee, one of the assistant directors in Northeastern's off-campus engagement and support office. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about how our office assists students during the off-campus process, specifically around renters' rights. All of the information in today's presentation is also located on our website. You can always reach us via phone, email, or booking a virtual meeting online. Assistance with renters' rights is just one of the three areas we advise students in, accompanied by the apartment search process and community engagement. You have lots of rights as a renter. You can be assured that your realtor, landlord, and property manager are following all the legal practices as outlined by the state of Massachusetts. This includes that your apartment is safe and sanitary, that reported maintenance is timely and effective, that housing codes are met, you have access to utilities as outlined in the lease, your security deposits are held and stored in an interest bearing account, and you always have the right to exercise legal action without fear of retaliation. If you have any issues or feel like any of your rights are violated, we are going to go over a list of government offices, city and state, that you can use to help during those times. On the flip side, you do have responsibilities as a renter as well. First and foremost, you should be paying your rent on time and in full as outlined in the lease. You are keeping your apartment clean and orderly. Otherwise, you may attract pests or cause other safety issues within your own unit. You report maintenance because a small leak to you may lead to a bigger leak behind the walls. And since there's not somebody coming every week to inspect, you need to be responsible reporting any issues that you see that are out of the ordinary. In addition, all roommates are treated as one entity, aka jointly liable, so you need to handle yourselves as one entity. You just need to make sure you follow all lease clauses, including the one that allows landlord or representatives the right to enter the unit for showing for future rentals or for repairs. Renting in Boston may be a little bit different than other cities. The first difference is that there's often an application before the lease process. A lot of students get confused that they're depositing a couple $100s for the application process, but then don't get the unit. The application is only used usually for a background or credit check to make sure that the landlord wants to have you as a tenant. A signed lease is the only thing that guarantees your tenancy. In Boston, it's becoming more and more common where realtors and landlords will ask for an upfront deposit for 1 month's rent. Although you don't need to make this deposit, if you choose to do so to AKA lock in your spot, make sure you have it in email writing that deposit is being used for a month's rent. In addition, it's important to ask upfront about any other fees. Broker's fees have to openly be disclosed, so if you're working with a realtor or landlord or even just searching our database, we highly recommend asking for listings that don't have a broker's fee. Make sure that you agree to all lease terms before signing, as a signed lease is a legal contract. As stated, leases are a legal contract and the only thing that guarantees your tenancy. They will also include all the details of the lease term, including contact information, the landlord, the tenants, building maintenance, as well as rules for the individual unit. Some things to look out for are subletting policy, which allows you to sublet your unit in case you're going away, graduating early, what days to take out trash, if it allows pets and guests, as well as renter's insurance guidance. Most places will require an individual tenant to get their own renter's insurance, and this is a good way to protect your property if there's any kind of weather issues or unforeseen accidents that may occur. We also highly recommend having a roommate agreement if you are living with roommates, as roommates are jointly liable, and also completing an apartment condition form within 15 days of moving in so that you know any damages that have already occurred in the unit so you're not charged for them or having it deducted from your security deposit at the end of your lease term. You will hear many members of our office talk about the importance of doing your research and reading the fine print and knowing all the details. It's important to know what the rules are and make sure that you're comparing the lease that you have, the occupancy you have to others in the area to make sure that you are signing a correct lease, you don't get scammed, and you are protecting yourself. Boston has a lot of legal and illegal clauses, so it's good to do your research and make sure you educate yourselves on these topics. If you have any questions, you can always book a meeting with our office or just give us a call, and we are happy to help you out. Once again, Boston is a unique city and it has some rules that other cities may not. One of which, the most common that our students ask about, is the no more than four. This states that no more than four unrelated persons can reside in the same unit in Boston. This is a fire safety law that was put into place about a decade ago. In addition, different streets have different parking restrictions, and different streets also have different trash removal days. You'll want to visit boston.gov for more individual information about your individual unit once you know where you are living. If after reviewing your lease you still have more questions or clauses that you don't understand, please visit our Lease Juniors page on our website. We have a whole page dedicated to helping you understanding your lease. And if you have any specific questions, you can use the form online and we'll get back to you within 24 hours. Off campus engagement support is only an advising office. We have no legal authority, but we work closely with city and state departments to help students with issues they may be facing. The Inspectional Services Department will help with any health, safety, or code violations that you think may be occurring within a unit. They offer free inspections and should be contacted immediately if you have any incidents involving health, safety, or code violations. The Office of the Attorney General helps with cases of bad business practices, often in the case of hidden fees or renovations or repairs not being done in a timely manner, or anything else that may be considered a bad business practice or illegal business practice. Small Claims Court handles any financial disputes under $7,000, and this is often used for security deposits and roommate disputes. And then Housing Court handles cases or assists with cases in evictions. One of the areas where we advise students a lot is around security deposits. Once again, security deposits are usually one of the many deposits you make at the very beginning of your lease term. These are supposed to be used for any repairs on damages that occur during your tenancy. This is why we always encourage completing an apartment condition form when you move in to make sure you note damages that were already there, along with pictures and videos so they are not deducted from your security deposit. If there are any issues that are code violations, you want to report it to the Inspectional Services Department so they can file a report. And it's very important to note that security deposits are returned within 30 days of the lease term ending, not when you move out. This has been a point of confusion among a lot of students, and we just want to make sure that's clarified, as well as making sure that you have a correct forwarding address in case they send a check and not a direct deposit. All security deposit issues or if amounts are deducted without receipts should be filed in small claims court, and we can help assist you with that process if need be. Another area where we advise students a lot is the jointly liable clause. We have a number of roommate disputes that can often be settled if roommates just communicated with each other from the get-go. Easy ones include guests, lifestyle choices, dietary restriction, allergies to pets, and so on and so forth. They could be as simple as noise complaints, or they could be more complex. We definitely advise having a roommate contract as part of your lease attached as an addendum, just so everybody is on the same page. Once tenants sign a lease, they are jointly liable, treated as one entity, and they do need to handle all roommate disputes on their own. This can either come in the form of mediation handled by our office or Oscar, or they could be financial disputes that would be handled through small claims court. About 80 to 90% of the leases in Boston do allow for subletting. Most leases run from one full year, so for students that are either going home over the summer or graduating early or not going to be here for any of the lease term, you'll want to make sure that subletting is allowed in your lease. Making sure that it's allowed in your lease in writing guarantees that you can find a replacement and not paying for months of rent when you are not present. It's also important to communicate with your roommates and landlord, as sometimes they will need to approve the new sublet in order for it to go through. After you find a reasonable sublet, or if you need help finding a sublet, you can post on our database, contact our office, and we're happy to help with that process as well. Sublets go through the same paperwork process as a initial lease, and all things should be written down in writing so that it is bound by contractual law. We also have an amazing newsletter with a lot of information for you. We have a team of student community ambassadors who have gone through the off campus process, and lots of tips and tricks about renters' rights can be found if you sign up for our newsletter. You'll also find us across campus, tabling, or hosting events, and you should always follow us on social media to keep up to date with the latest information. Renters' rights is a very in depth process in Massachusetts that's protected by law. We highly advise kind of reading up on all the information on our website, but also talking to us if you have any additional questions. Once again, we're available by phone, email, and by virtual bookings, but we also offer this apartment search toolkit for your use. Once again, make sure you are doing your research and making sure that you're looking at all the details, and we're here to help as needed. Have a great day.